So this is Mike Farley, and we're with Poolside Perspectives, and we're going to continue our saga covering water safety. And we've got a couple of really good topics to look at, and I have a guest co-host with me now.
Howdy.
So welcome back, Trey. You were here, I think, on January 1st when we were talking about trends.
Oh, yeah, I was. Yeah, January 1st, my hair was a little lighter, a little shorter. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, mine's lighter and probably shorter too. It's probably because it's all fallen out. But anyway, we're going to talk with a couple of people today and cover some safety issues. We're going to talk with CamerEye and Michael, and then we're also going to talk with Leo with Twinscapes, and Twinscapes is movable floors. We're also going to talk about a few other items today in safety with alarms and different items to consider to round out Water Safety Month as we continue to hopefully provide lots of good information for people that they can learn and also pass on to friends so we can create better swimmers and safer environments.
Oh, yeah, it's going to take a lot of stress off a lot of homeowners, with all these, precautions that we're going to be discussing. A lot of them can relieve a lot of stress.
Yeah,
sure.
I think it's really cool, the AI advancements, but we'll get into all that. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, look forward to talking with Michael.
Joining us is going to be Michael. Michael is the head of sales for CamerEye. Previously, CamerEye, he spent the past 17 years growing North American dealers' business for endless pools. He has an extensive knowledge of the industry, pool construction, and believes in begins and ends with taking care of the customer. For hobbies, he has struggled mightily with golf since 1989 and has recently picked up the sport of disc golf to add to the weekend fun and frustrations. He has a love/hate relationship with his car, which is now on its third engine in 10 years, and hopes one day his bottled chicken marinade, which he believes is the best on this side of the Mississippi. Michael lives in Wilmington, Delaware, and is proud father of two boys, Joey and Jake.
Now, I just want to specify he's on the eastern side of the Mississippi, not the western side.
Yeah, it just says this side. So
yeah, well, he's trying to, I think, take care of both of them, but Texas is on this side of the Mississippi.
Yeah,
so.
There's a lot of people in Texas that might beg to differ.
Well, we'll have to discuss that with Michael. Well, thank you, Michael, for joining us today. So,
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you have a product that you've been repping for a while, so CamerEye, and I don't think many people understand or even know about this concept. So the first is, can you give us a brief overview of what this technology does?
Yeah, absolutely. What we're doing at CamerEye is really advancing the product within the required code. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give customers a better handle on safety and security in their backyard space. And ultimately, what we've been doing with pool safety over the years, at least for the past 20 plus years, have really been offering customers very static safety in that it's open and closed, or, motion or no motion, right? And unfortunately, that doesn't really do a lot for the customer down the road or long term. So what we're offering at CamerEye is actually, with the advancement of AI, is an AI-based camera system that can allow the customer to customize a very specific safety plan for their backyard space. So depending on what their need is at their home, they can set up a scenario or they set up a configuration in their app using the CamerEye system that they can specifically fine-tune some information, fine-tune what this camera needs to look for. So specifically, this camera system looks for pets, toddlers, and adults, right?
Okay. Yep.
So if you have little kids, or you have grandkids, or you have adults that live with you, or you live alone, or you have Pomeranians that can't swim, right?
Yeah.
There are certain things that we offer somebody in a pool standpoint of, hey, we're going to give you a fence and we're going to give you some door window alarms, or we'll give you a floating pool alarm. But at the end of the day, that really doesn't give the customer anything of real substance to move forward with, right? Because a lot of those features of safety require human interaction to make sure that they function properly. The gate has to be closed. The cover has to be closed. The motion sensor in the pool needs to be always in the pool, right? Door window sensors need to be on the doors at all times and armed. But in 2024, if we are only selling one set certain way and in a very customizable world, then a lot of people are often going to throw those by the wayside, right?
Right.
And then we're left with a similar problem that we were trying to get away from in the first place, which is having, a space that doesn't have the proper safety features built into it. Right. I mean, there's not a single one of us that would get into a car these days without airbags or without seatbelts. Like if you got into a brand new car and you're like, where's the seatbelts? Where's all the special safety things? And you're like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm a safe driver. Like, I don't know about all that. Right. I mean, we would think differently. But, when we go to the backyard space where we kind of have become okay with just having what is offered to us from a safety standpoint. So as we've been advancing really cool stuff in the pool technology, pool system, pool space for technology, like, different aesthetic pieces, there's pirate ships that have fire and water, there's jumping things, there's all sorts of cool things that are beautiful to look at. But we don't really give the customer, a really good feel good piece about how do they connect to their backyard space, because before a pool was there, they were very connected with that space. They were very familiar with that space. And now they have a pool which has its own amount of challenges that they need to learn how to overcome and how to make it work right for them.
So you said it's custom, so you can customize it. So I noticed there were things in your literature, that you could monitor windows being opened and things like that. So is that something you can choose? I don't care about that, or yeah, that's real important to me. I mean, how do you customize it?
The big thing for our product is really what the camera brings to the table, and that is the ability to draw multiple fences, virtual fences around the backyard space. So if you figure you have a pool in the backyard, and in your app, you're able to draw a geofence or a safety fence around your pool, that whenever someone would enter into that area that you want to know about, it will let you know whether it's going to be a chime of the phone, or the siren goes off a little bit, or the siren goes off a lot of bit, right? And then there's another fence that gets drawn in, and it's actually the swim zone fence, if you will, and that's when people get into the pool, right? And then it's watching to make sure that people are using the pool safely. So what our system is able to do is that, depending on what you need or the needs of your home and the needs of the people in your space, you can customize of how you want the system to notify you of who's in the backyard. Because, all three of us there, I thought there was four of us. I'm actually looking at me also. I was like, who's that moderately attractive bald man there? If there's three of us in the backyard space and we're just hanging around by the pool, we don't need an alarm system to go off, right? If we're jumping in and out of the pool, we don't need an alarm system to go off. But if there's little children in the house that are, say, 2 years old, and they come into the backyard space and we're not paying attention, they walk right by us. The minute they come into that geofenced area, because we have toddler detection put on, that's going to let us know. And that's the whole point of a lot of the things that we're doing in this world, especially in the auto industry, with just distraction, right? We're all kind of distracted these days, whether it's phone, whether it's the squirrel off to the side, whether it's something going on. It doesn't take much for us to take the eye off the prize, and that's when accidents happen. So if we're able to have something that's smart, that's able to give us that 24/7 focus that, I would love for an hour of focus, let alone 24 hours of focus. I want that, to be my kind of a helpful eye for me, right? Yeah. And because again, a lot of the things that we're doing for safety is really focusing on keeping people out of the backyard space, fences, covers, door locks, things like that, keep them out. But in order to see that beautiful pool, that beautiful, oasis in the backyard, you've got to let everybody in. You've got to get people past the gates. You got to get people, you got to open the cover. And then where are you? Then what do you have? So now, we're able to bring in AI technology to assist us, to basically give us a system that when the pool is actually in the backyard, is actually in use, to give us something to, give us a little more peace of mind than just some motion cameras, because you can't have motion when there's people or around, or when safety is concerned, because it's just going to be a boy who cried wolf scenario. You need something that's very specific, something that's going to let you know when someone is in trouble. And when you hear that notification isn't muted, and you're not slow to react. You need a very fast to react notification, and it needs to be accurate.
So I have a question. You were talking earlier about, obviously it working like a geofence, you could do like an area, but you also mentioned that when people are being reckless around the pool, how does that detect it? Like what kind of behavior is that, like running around the pool, or is there like a certain thing that it pops up and notifies, hey, the kids are jumping off the waterfall again or something like that? I don't know.
It's not going to be so much like that. It's not so much looking at behavior detection
Okay,
around the pool. It's letting them know that someone is in the pool area.
I gotcha.
So whether you draw that geofence very small around your pool, or you could shade the whole pool, whole backyard in, right? If you say, hey, listen, when I'm not home, I don't care what's in my back. I want to make sure if there's any adults or any children in my backyard when I'm not home. And I'm going to draw that geofence all around the whole backyard space, because the camera system, once it's installed, it has a 150-degree viewing angle. Okay, it's a 4K camera with night vision. The AI
Wow.
visuals are good for 100 feet from the front of the camera out. So one camera system should suffice for most backyards in the country, right?
Yeah.
And as far as 100 feet from front to back and 150-degree view, you're going to cover that pool space, right?
Hmm.
So this is going to give you that information of who is in the actual pool area and whether they should be there or not. But let's think about from a party scenario. All right. So, we want to make sure we have adults at the house, we're having a big party. We want to make sure if the kids come out, we know that the kids are out. So we're going to leave toddler detection on.
Okay.
And when the toddlers come into the pool area, then we know that, hey, the toddler woke up, they're in the pool area, right? But you can't have 100. If you have like 30 toddlers at your house, you can't just have the alarm going off like crazy unless you're DJ Khaled, right? You can't like woo woo woo. You just can't have sirens going off like
Yeah.
crazy. So you can snooze different parts of what the system can do. You can snooze it for an hour. You can snooze it for 4 hours, snooze it up to a day if you're having a party. And as far as the detection around the pool, what you can't turn off, however, is what it's looking for is distress detection within the pool. So say the party's over. Okay. I've got two boys. They're 9 and 12. And when we're home, and I want to go swim, or I want to, be by myself in the pool, they're going to go play Fortnite. They're going to, hey, I need 45 minutes to myself. I need to go swim some laps. And they're not going to come watch dad swim because, dad's dad. Dad's been swimming since he was 2. And no one really equates water safety to people that know how to swim, right? You think of like car accidents, you're like, oh, well, they just, car accidents don't care if you just started learning how to drive or you've been driving for 50 years. If someone comes out of nowhere and you swerve, you've got to hope that the pieces of safety are in place, right? So, if I'm swimming in the backyard and I have a heart attack or a stroke or lose consciousness or whatever, this system is going to be able to say, oh, Michael's struggling. Michael was swimming. Now Michael's not swimming anymore. Michael's struggling. Now we're going to let an alarm know. The alarm's going to go off on the camera. The alarm's going to go off on people's phones. There's going to be an alarm that's going inside the house so that it'll notify that, hey, I'm in the backyard and I need assistance. And that's really the beautiful thing about this product, is that it doesn't care your ability within the water, because if you're by yourself and you can't help yourself, then you need help. You need people to come pull you out.
So how does it detect a difference between you just like floating, just relaxing after you worked out, and you struggling and just unconscious? Is there indicators or?
Yeah, absolutely. So much like, if you were posed with a task of, hey, let's install a ceiling fan today, and you've never done one before, you're
Yeah.
going to go to YouTube and you're going to watch a video of, hey, how do I do this? And you might watch multiple videos, especially if one's longer than the other, or so one doesn't seem like it's your proper model or whatnot. So you watch a bunch of different videos. And so basically how AI works is that with our algorithm is that we've trained our model to watch countless hours of what swimming looks like, countless hours of what bad swimming looks like, what
Okay.
horseplay looks like, what flailing, what thrashing, what bobbing, pre-drowning signs, active drowning signs. So you actually have a very learned eye that is watching what's going on in the pool. So it can make a judgment call based on what it sees if it needs to bring people into the fold.
That's
For
awesome.
instance, like part of one of our tests that we had to do was putting a small toddler dummy into the pool, right? Without anyone could see it, this toddler dummy gets kind of dropped into the pool and then it sinks, right? the system, while even though it's not an in-pool alarm, it is classified as an in-pool alarm. It has its ASTM F228 type A, B, and C listing. A and B being your surface and subsurface, and C being your perimeter. So what this camera is doing is, even though it's mounted from 50, 60 feet away, it sees that a child has entered the area, has fallen in the pool, and is now sinking. Right within 15 seconds, that alarm was going to go off and let people know that someone needs to come out and take a look.
Awesome.
Rush to action. So, can there be an opportunity for false positives? Absolutely. But it's very, very I think within 25 feet, we're at a 99.7% positivity rate.
And so since AI is so, it's learned so much, obviously it learns so much. It with like leaves and simple items that are going to flow into the picture. You don't have many instances where you have like false alarms where it's some kind of object or something like that from day-to-day households that might be picking up like a person or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's only going to go off if it's specifically picking up on a pet, a toddler, or an adult,
Okay.
right? And it's modeling based on height, behavior, and how it's acting. Now, we do have different features of the system that are outside of safety that will give the homeowner feedback on bather load, pool clarity, skim, debris, things of that nature to help them manage their pool much more efficiently.
I was going to say, I read something about maintenance, but I wasn't sure what that was entailing. So that's what it's getting into.
Yeah. So if you think about, a lot of how you keep pools clean is you need to know the bather load. Knowing how many people are actually in the pool so then you can the formula for adding the proper amount of chemicals, right? So this is going to give the homeowner a good idea of how many times they've been in the pool, for how long they've been in the pool. And ultimately our goal is to really become the hub for the whole pool's ecosystem, the ability for us to work and speak with the pool equipment, potentially speeding up the pump or slowing down the pump based on bather load, things of that nature. Those are things that we're working out right now as we continue to grow the product. But, as it stands, we are a safety first company, and that's where that's always included in the price of our products. Our customers are never paying for safety features. It's actually included for the lifetime of the product. But the things that we have as far as from a maintenance or a pool ownership, it's a very small $7 a month, $50 a year fee, should they want to, max out the system. But, where safety is concerned, that's always part of what we're offering with the system.
So this replaces several safety features. So a typical city today requires that there's some form of door alarm that you go into the home. So in the literature I was looking at, it said in several states this replaces the necessity of that alarm. Is that correct?
So it doesn't replace the need for door window alarms. It replaces the need for traditional door window alarms. Our systems are smart Wi-Fi enabled door alarm systems that connect to the siren itself. The whole point of the product for us is really, like I said, is advancing the product within the required code. So right now, door window sensors are required in many of those states that require a UL 2017 listing. We've actually had our product passed in one municipality where we had 2 camera systems on the back of the house. And because the camera system was able to see all the doors and windows leading to the back of the house, they didn't have to move forward with the door or window alarms because it's a smarter system, right? So instead of having to drill into, all the doors and all the windows, we were able to get by that by way with the code officials, all done by the book, by the way. But the whole point is things that we're doing today may have made sense 20 plus years ago, but they don't make sense today anymore, right? There's better systems, there's smarter systems, there's better ways to do it than just having a door beep, and that's what happens is the door will beep, people get annoyed by the beeping door, they take it off, and then the one time that it was supposed to beep for that main reason, it's not there, right? So when the camera system's there, and because our sensors connect to the camera, even if they take down the door window, which we'll never say to do, but for whatever reason, they get past the door window sensor, the minute they walk outside, they're in the geofence, right? And then the system, if they're supposed to be out there, then they're fine. If they're not, we're going to let people know. And then before they even get to the pool, right? So as they cross the geofence, they're a toddler. They're not supposed to be there. Alarm goes off. They keep going. Alarm still going off, right? It's not like they're just going to skirt around it because they kind of came in and came out. You've got to turn that off because the criteria was met to set off the alarm.
So there's an alarm that goes off. Also, it will send a message to a phone.
Correct. So what comes standard with the system is 2 users, 2 phones, 2 tablets, however you want to have it set up. There's an alarm on the camera itself. It's a 95 decibel alarm, and that's going to be outdoors. There's also going to be, you can have 1 to 100 indoor alarms if you'd like. They're also blaring at 95 decibels. I can tell you one thing.
Oh, wow.
We tested a 95 decibel alarm inside my house. Actually, we were testing out some of the different Bluetooth and Wi-Fi setup functionality with our alarms, and I had an alarm installed at my house, and then the camera actually got tripped in San Diego. It scared the heck out of me. 95 decibel alarm inside your house you will take notice of that very quickly. So it is not something that you'll know what that is when it goes off. So yes, there's multiple audible ways that the system is letting you know of any type of detection or zone detection or distress detection, by which you can't turn off. Like the distress detection, you can't turn off. You can modify the around the pool detection. If you have parties, you can snooze it like that.
Installation. Walk us through the process that has to be done for the system to be installed.
Absolutely. So much like any smart device, you just need 2 things. You need power and you need internet, right? So the way that the system comes is you're going to plug it in and connect it to the home's Wi-Fi. Based on what I told you guys with the range, 150-degree viewing angle, 100 feet from front to back, or from front of the camera out is where the AI processing is done. You should be able to find a place that's suitable on the back of the house to get that in view of the pool, right? So being able to simply plug it in, connecting to the home's Wi-Fi is one way. We also can do a PoE plus installation, which is power over Ethernet. So that is actually running an Ethernet cable from the back of the camera through the home that connects to the home's router, much like most internet cameras are installed. That gives you the most stable installation over time, and you're not dealing with any fluctuation of Wi-Fi signal. But at the end of the day, an installation that's just plug in and connect to the home's Wi-Fi is 15 to 20 minutes. It really doesn't take much to do. It's really just the 3 screws, setting the camera in place, figuring out the proper angle for the camera, and fine-tuning it in the app, and then drawing your fences around it, your geofence and then your swim zone fence. The PoE Plus installation, that could take an hour or 2, based on how you have to run the cable. We have professional installers for that nationwide. But as someone personally, for me, that is not a handy guy, I think, I break things more than I fix things, unfortunately. I know that I can handle a few screws and plugging it in and connecting to the home's Wi-Fi. And, but for peace of mind, we're looking at about $275 for a full-on installation, which is your PoE install. Not an expensive install. Not necessarily has to be done that way, but if you want, again, that without the fluctuation of Wi-Fi and a real steady installation over time, that'd be the way to go. Now, with that being said, once the camera has power to it, in case the Wi-Fi does drop out or internet does drop out, the camera still functions. The AI processor doesn't need the internet per se for it to work. It needs the internet to communicate to the users, right? So for any reason, if the Wi-Fi drops out, you'd get an offline notice. But if people are out in the backyard space, the camera is still armed, the camera is still watching, and the camera can still sound the alarm from the base station that the camera is part of.
So if the Wi-Fi goes out, because everyone knows Wi-Fi burns you sometimes, does it have like a playback feature? Is it recording, or is it just all live video? So like if it goes down, you could maybe like look back at your phone and see what you missed or something like that.
So because it's not motion, it's really only, you can always go to live view, you can always cut to live view, but unless there's an actual event, like a detection event or distress event, that's when it actually records.
Okay.
So that is where you'd have that playback of events. But as long as if there's no event that is stored, then there's nothing to really play back.
Okay. With a lot of infinity pools, you're gonna have Say you have a dam wall that's going on the when you're looking out at the patio and it goes right there, and then maybe you have another pool for the basin. In that situation, obviously a big drop, maybe say like 4, 6 feet. Are you positioning the camera maybe in the middle where it can see both levels of the yard, or are y'all thinking maybe depending on the yard size, you might get two cameras, one to look back at the house, one to look out?
So yeah, so depending on the backyard space, you may have a need for more than one camera system.
Yeah.
This is not an expensive system. One of our systems is way less than 1% of the cost of the average pool price, right,
Okay.
these days,
Yeah.
especially more of the custom in-ground pools these days. It's the retail of MSRP is $899 for our Edge system. That is the new construction system that has the ASTM certifications as well as the UL certifications that come with the product.
Mm-hmm.
So both the camera systems each camera system has its own AI processor built into it. It's all the AI is done locally, right? It's all done within the camera, and they all communicate, they'll sync together. So if you need a second camera or a third camera, they will all work within the app together. But yeah, ultimately the goal is to not have any blind spots, not have any areas where you can't see someone entering and exiting the pool. Because it does take inventory of people going in the pool. It does take head counts, and that's the point of looking for people, right? It's not doing any facial recognition; it's doing person recognition or toddler recognition, but it's not doing facial. So it is counting the people as it's coming in and out of the pool, who's using the pool, making sure that everyone's accounted for.
If you're building a home and you wanted to incorporate this, you would just set up a power supply where you're going to put the camera like up on the eave of the house or something like that. Just set a plug up there. And then you would set, a cable so you could tie it directly in. That would be the easiest way to do it if you're building a new home to set that situation up.
Yeah, absolutely. You've a lot of flexibility there. We do have we have a new construction pack for builders, or customers really, that has a Wi-Fi hotspot as well as a battery pack. You could use it as a fallback, if should power ever go out. But we are selling this pack for builders or for homeowners that want to have a camera set up during the new construction phase of their home or the new construction phase of their pool if they don't have any power there. That'll suffice for power and internet speed to communicate with everybody. But yes, you're correct. So running that cable, and again, most pools, most homes these days are having some form of automation feature into them. Most homes are smart homes at some level now these days, and most pool systems have smart features to it. So really, wherever you're setting up the pool equipments, Wi-Fi, or if you're bringing extenders out, you can even bring the camera out, away from the house, depending on what the setup is. But ultimately, Mike, whatever gives you the best vantage point that isn't directly looking into the sun, we're all for it. If you can get a good view of the backyard space, be able to see the whole pool, see the area around it, and again, given the wide angle of the camera, that should be easy to accomplish.
So you mentioned solar with the builder pack. So is this like if they don't have power on the site right now, there's something set up that you could actually watch construction and before power gets brought to the site?
Yes. So part and parcel of how we're wanting to really position this product is it obviously is to help customers feel comfortable about wanting to move forward with pool ownership, right? The number one reason why customers decide not to move forward with a pool, not saying they've already met with a pool builder or anything like that, but just in general, like, hey, I think I'm ready for a pool. I better make a phone call, right? It's before they even get to that part. The NDPA put out a study that said the number one reason why they don't move forward with a pool is their concern over water safety and long-term pool ownership. And so, our goal with this product is to help builders that, to sell safety, builders don't sell one type of pool, right? They sell custom pools, right? So to be able to offer the customer a custom pool and a custom safety plan, I feel is going to ultimately get more people into the sales funnel and get them to want to move forward with a pool because they're going to feel like they have some better peace of mind. But ultimately, it's a very, the pool market, the pool building space, depending on you are, is a very saturated market, right? There's a lot of builders, right? And if we can give builders the tools that they need to run a better business, to run a more efficient business, we can allow them to do some construction monitoring, right? And this is going to allow them to give their customers better pricing because they're being more efficient with their time, they're being more efficient with their resources, and ultimately it's going to allow them to stay on schedule, right? Because if they have 10 projects around town and they can see where they are with all their projects, that's going to be able to really sit down and make their own mission control and say, hey, we need more people here. We're actually a little bit behind here. You can have really, transparent conversations with your customers. If coping's supposed to be delivered on a Tuesday and the homeowner's not home and you call them on Tuesday afternoon, like, hey, how's the coping look? And they're like, oh, the coping was never here. Ugh. But you could check the camera first, like, ooh, coping wasn't there. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, coping wasn't there today. We know this because we can see what's going on in the project. We know if people are coming to work or if inspectors were showing up or, different things like that. It gives the builder a little bit more visibility, or giving them a lot of visibility into their job sites, right? And if you run more efficient job sites, ultimately it's going to make for a happy customer at the end of the day.
100%. So would you say this is a really good product also for people that are buying a home with a pool, or people that all of a sudden have children and didn't have before and they were comfortable with it? This is something that a lot of people will add to an existing pool situation. It's not just involving new pool construction. It's, because there's more existing pools than there are new ones on the market.
Correct. I think that's, when we look at, people that are buying homes with pools, people that are remodeling their pools, even if they were the original owner of that pool, the reason why they got a pool in the first place may be changed after 15 to 20 years, right? Your needs change. And so you need a system that's going to grow with you and it's going to roll with the punches, right? If I bought a house with a pool and I've got kids and now my kids, they're all in their, early 20s or whatever. And then, 5, 6, 7 years later, now they come back and they got grandkids. Now I got grandkids. I'm like, pool is not set up for this. Right. And so, you need something that's going to be flexible and customizable. Right. And to give those grandparents, give anybody, you get so used to what they call it house shock. If you use your house in a different way than it's never been used before, it's like if you've got more people using the toilet or more people, taking showers or more people using electricity, you start, the house starts going through different shock. Well, if you have more people using the pool or you have different people getting in and out of the backyard, it's going to give you some potential shock of why is my water cloudy and what's going on? Why is this thing floating? Who snuck in my backyard? I didn't pick up on this. So, I think giving somebody a tool, right, to give that feedback back to them, to set up a zone or 2 zones for them, I think more power to everybody, right? If it's better than just saying, here's your fence, here's your cover. You need those. You need fences, you need covers. Those are important. Barriers, layers of protection. It's all about belt and suspenders, right? The whole belt and suspenders, approach to safety. You can't have enough, but more importantly, it helps if what you have is smart, right? Because, what do they say? It's like practice makes perfect, right? If you practice poorly, then you're not going to play great. You want good layers of protection. You want things that are going to help and assist. So I think anyone that is getting a pool or is owning or owns a pool, I know for a fact that, I've had my share of fears and scares around pools. I have my boys now are 12 and 9, but when they were 5 and 2, my 5-year-old was very cautious around water and my 2-year-old had a death wish. He wanted to jump into every deep possible bit of water before we had a chance to do anything, or he'd sneak out of the house and we go to Grammys and where's Jake? And he comes, big water, and like jumps in. It's scary because they don't know any better, right? Yeah. And so I think, it's never safe to swim without an adult in the back. It's not that you don't want to be by yourself in the back, but it helps to have an undisturbed and a piece and a machine that can't get unfocused. Yeah. Right. Yes, I would definitely recommend this product to anyone that has a pool, that wants to have be more in touch with the people that are using their pool as their own safety device and their own safety measurements, but also if they want a little bit more assistance with, keeping on top of their pool chemistry and making sure that water stays nice and clear.
I'm a homeowner. I hear the podcast. Sounds great. How do I get one?
Well, you can call a local dealer, your local pool company. Go to CamerEye.ai. We work with everybody, so work with you, Mr. Farley. We will go ahead and call Mike.
So I didn't know if you guys were in retail stores like Leslie's or anything like that at this point yet, or if you're mostly dealing with pool contractors, or what sources people had to find your product.
Yeah, right now we have our main product right now is our Edge system. That is our new construction product. We have a product that's coming out next month called Core, and Core is going to be our direct consumer or retail type product. And that will be available online on our website. And we're still working out our partnerships. So
Gotcha. Excellent.
I just want to touch on this real quick. I think one of the coolest things from this conversation we've had is being able to have that safety without having the barriers. And because aesthetically, I see so many beautiful pools, but then they have fences or covers, and those are great things to have. But sometimes there'll be a customer that's like, I spent a lot of money on this project. I want to be able to see it. But they also have to balance, the responsibilities and everything like that. So having the capability to have an invisible fence and be aware all the time, I think it's amazing. So just want to say that real quick.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think, again, the biggest thing for us, again, is the different layers of protection, and obviously the fences are important, but it's really the behavior of the people that are in the backyard and how that equates to keeping people safe. Right. And that's ultimately what the goal of the product is to create safer backyards and give more information and to keep people more in tune with what's going on out there.
Yeah, because I countless couples I'll meet with, and one's really interested in safety and the other one's not.
Yeah.
And so the discussion goes, and a lot of times they're like, well, we're just going to teach them how to swim, and we'll just deal with, and so this can help accommodate both people's interests in the fact that I still have a visually pleasing backyard, but I'm adding layers of safety here.
Absolutely.
Other than, just teaching my child how to swim.
Absolutely.
So, and, I think that's a great benefit for families that, we can provide some additional resources for them to, have the best of both worlds. So.
Absolutely. And the thing is, and to add to that too, I mean, it's always important that we teach our children how to swim. We teach our adults how to swim. We teach proper water safety etiquette, around the pool, because again, it doesn't matter if you've been swimming for 2 days or swimming for 50 years. If an accidents happen, if you fall, slip, hit your head, go in the pool, and you don't have the proper safety measures in place, then no one's going to know. Right. And that's the reason why, the auto industry has done what they've done over the years. I mean, if you think about the first car that was ever built, everyone's driving around the road. It was great. And then they made it right. And everyone went out the side because there's no doors on it. Right. Like, we better make this thing safer. Right. And now, now they have self-driving cars. Now they have collision control. They have lane departure. They have all these different features because accidents happen. Right. And we want to make sure that we have the pieces in place that aren't getting removed after permitting. We have things that stay with the customer, that can grow with the customer, that can modify based on the customer's needs, and really gives them that peace of mind that regardless of who's in the backyard space, whether it is a toddler, whether it's their grandchildren, whether it's an adult, whether it's a child, whether it's their friend, neighbor, it doesn't matter, that if something happens in that pool, that there's going to be a set of eyes that can alert people in the presence of distress.
It's outstanding.
So the package, that's the builder package, did you say it was $8.99?
Yeah, that's our MSRP for the product is $8.99.
And then you said that there was a installation that was $275. You have people that do that type of work or something like that?
Yep, we have installers nationwide for the product. If they are wanting to have, a a licensed installer to come do that install. But like I said, it's also as simple as just plugging it in and connecting it to the home's Wi-Fi. So both ways work. The PoE install does offer the most stable over time. But again, if you're a relatively handy homeowner and you don't mind fishing a cable from point A to point B and plugging in your router, it's not a difficult thing to do. So there's no assembly to the camera. Everything's already together. It's just how you're going to power it and how you're going to connect it to the world.
Awesome. Well, is there any other things we should be thinking about or sharing with people in this process that we haven't touched on?
And one other part of CamerEye is our CamerEye Cares Foundation. So part of what we do at CamerEye is really to help spread the word about water safety advocacy, right? And we want to build safer pools, and we want to preach layers of protection, and we want to have safer pools, right? So we're very involved with various boards and different foundations of pushing the boundaries of what we can do for safety. And part of that, for every edge system that we sell, we're donating a swim lesson back into the community by the name of the builder or customer that is purchasing the product. So that's part of our mission, is to donate back for every system that we sell, again, to bring more awareness, bring more swimming lessons to people, whether they can afford them or not. And again, try to get more people to using the pool for a long, long time. Before I came to CamerEye a year ago, I was at a company called Endless Pools, and I was there for 17 years. And we sold swimming machines, and you get to see these people that are using these cool products and just having a blast, right? And betterness through water and wellness through water. And really the focus for us is to create safe pools so everybody can have that same type of experience. The fact that people have tragedy around pools when a pool is designed for having those beautiful moments, those core memories, those barbecues, those family times, right? The good times, right? It's not supposed to have a negative connotation. So, the more we can put these pieces in place that work and that are, functional, and are customizable for the customer, I think we're going to start seeing those numbers of tragedies go down, because we are doing better by the customers and giving them the safety tools they need.
You're also going to increase the good memories with the pool situation as well. So that's a great thing about the product we work with, is the memories it creates. So
absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you. So
you're welcome.
We'll put your contact information with the podcast so people can reach out to you, or if you just want to say the best way to reach out to you here, whichever works best, so we can
be you can email me if you want. So it's michael.sparasio@camereye.ai. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but I can, we can spell it out and we'll put it on there.
Okay. We'll include it in the episode at the bottom. So anyway, greatly appreciate your time, Michael. And
absolutely.
Hope you have a great year.
Thank you. You too. And thanks for bringing up such a great topic during Water Safety Month. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. What did you think was the coolest feature about the CamerEye?
Me personally, I think that it detecting, it's not doing facial recognition. It's pretty much like body shapes, I guess, and be able to recognize here's a toddler and here's an adult. That way you can have it alert you when the toddlers are out, and versus like, oh, someone's just entering the pool, just any guy. It could be the homeowner or a friend or something like that. It's specified to, the toddler. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool that you can set different boundaries.
Yeah.
And
the geofence.
With the geofence, I'm just interested on the water's edge, or no, I'm interested if they walk in the backyard, what's going on, so you can set different things up so you can customize it. So I didn't realize that it had that capability.
Yeah. You might have like the deep end of the pool you want to keep them away from, or just anything in the backyard specifically. You could just, draw it and have them, prevent that. So that's cool.
The one thing that I meant to ask about, but I didn't, was pets. But he did specifically mention pets or something that, is something, that it could be really helpful. Because I know some people are really concerned, bulldog owners, because they're if a bulldog goes in the pool and they sink like a rock.
Yeah, I think he also mentioned Pomeranians.
Yeah,
for an example.
The little fluffy ones.
Yeah, my buddy has one. I didn't know they couldn't swim. That's interesting.
Well, I'm sure they can, but they have a hard time because they can't. If they're on the top step, they could still be, in 6 inches of water. They could be almost underwater.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where I think it would make it a little challenging for little dogs. Golden retrievers don't have that problem.
They have web feet, so they're pretty good at swimming.
Yeah,
most of them.
Yeah,
some of them are scared. So,
but anyway, a really interesting product. I think it's going to be something, and I didn't realize that they didn't have a remodel or an existing homeowner package, but that's coming soon.
Yeah, the core he said will be coming soon. So that's interesting.
Well, I think it's something that a lot of people will check out and add to their experience and have really a great option to, like you mentioned when we were talking, you can still have the aesthetics, but an additional layer of safety that's available for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's check out some more stuff here today.
Let's do it.
We're talking about different levels of safety. And one of the cool things is that you can have safety on an individual.
Yeah.
So you want to explain how the turtle works?
The turtle. So it's pretty much like a watch monitor. So say you have some kids or maybe some dogs, and a lot of people have dogs and they consider them their kids.
Oh, most definitely.
Like
the kids that don't talk back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they do talk back, but it's just a little louder sometimes.
Well, you got a loud dog.
Yeah, but you can attach it to a dog's collar or put it on your kid's wrist. And if you want them not to go in the pool and not get wet, but you want them to run in the backyard, play with their friends or something like that, you attach it, and once the monitor that attaches, once it gets wet, it alerts you, which is really cool.
It's a really loud alarm.
Yeah, and it also, if you're worried your kid's just going to take it off, it actually has a locking mechanism, so you can lock it, so it's kind of like a shackle in a way, but the kid can't take it off without the key, so make sure you don't lose that key.
Yes. It's a pretty cool apparatus. I think it works really well for people that, like a grandparent that doesn't usually have someone that, they don't have their pool set up from a safety standpoint.
Yeah.
And they've got a toddler that's over there. They can put it on them, for the day, and then they can take it off when they leave. And, it gives them a layer of safety to work with around. So there's some videos I think on YouTube that go into
I saw a bunch of like how-to and detailed videos on it, but yeah, they've got a bunch on YouTube, some shorts on there as well. And I said shackle, it looks comfy, it doesn't seem like uncomfortable to wear or anything like that,
right?
So yeah.
So you're willing to model one?
Yeah, if they want me to, I can.
Okay,
sure. we can test it out.
We can test it out. So
yeah.
If that's something of interest that you want Trey to test out the turtle and model it, we'll have to see what the audience thinks. But I think it's a great product that gives a level of safety, and that's what we're trying to cover this month is all different levels of safety. So the Safety Turtle, I think, is the name that you can find it under, or pool alarm turtle. Well, it might be something else you could search.
Yeah, I just Googled Safety Turtle, but I mean, pool alarm, if you attach it to the back, I'm for sure it'll pop up everything.
So there was another alarm which has been out. Gosh, I first saw them when I first started in the pool industry, back in the 90s, and it's called Pool Guard. A Pool Guard is a really, it's a piece of equipment that just gets mounted on the door frame that's has a contact. And if you break the contact as you open the door and you don't push the button, an alarm goes off. So
okay, yeah. I did mess with those. I thought you were talking about the one in the pool. Sorry.
No, this is the door alarm.
Yeah, the door alarm. Yeah, I've dealt with, especially in Dallas and Highland Park. They have them all the time.
Right. So certain cities require this to be installed before you plaster a pool, and they are required on every single door that goes into the outdoor space.
Into the backyard where the pool is, yeah.
Right. So the certain cities will allow you to, no, I don't think I want to go into that. So it's an alarm to prevent people from going into the outdoor space. And it is very loud.
Yes.
I can attest to that. And it's battery operated, so you don't have to get power to it or anything like that. So it's a very easy mounted mechanism. And there's a number of different ones and shapes, but this is primary to alert you when someone walks into the backyard.
Yeah.
So
that's the gist of it.
I think you could also set them on windows.
Yeah, you could. It's pretty much anywhere where it's going to open up. So I never in the field had to put them on windows because of code, but you certainly could depending on the window.
I think certain states require it. I think in Texas they're not required on windows, just on doors.
Okay.
Question. I had someone ask a question about glass railings for a safety fence.
Okay.
So they said, does that work as a safety fence? And the one thing that I would say is it is a excellent layer of protection.
Okay.
Except safety fences typically are 48 inches tall. The glass railings are typically 42 inches tall.
Okay.
So they're a little bit shorter. So they're not going to meet any city code or anything like that. Now, you could make them taller, I suppose, and therefore it would work for what you're trying to do. But as a layer of safety, I think it's an excellent. I've got a large project that we put the glass railings up to divide the kid zone from the pool zone in the yard. And, that works really well.
Yeah.
To still give a visual but still provide some separation between the two, because they had 7 children, ranging from 13 down to like 3.
Yeah.
And so and lots of guests. And so we designed the project and put the splash pad in the kid zone. And then everything else was fenced off in the pool zone. So it's a cool layer, but it's not going to usually suffice as a fence because it's shorter than a standard fence it would be. So that was a question somebody had.
But you get the benefit of having a safety fence because you have a layer of protection so they can't get into it. You also get the aesthetic of looking out and seeing through and seeing the project, seeing your job and the landscape and everything. It's not like you're looking out and you're seeing an ugly fence. And then also, since it's glass, you can see the kids through the fence. So it works, it's multifunctional.
Most glass railings are 36 inches
36.
tall. Instead of, in some places, in California and Washington, they're required to be 42 inches tall.
Okay.
But a typical rail, the rest of the places is 36. So a typical fence requirement is 48. So they would have to make it taller to make it suffice as fencing, but it still provides a great barrier.
Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody got a lot of information on water safety. I know we dove into areas that we've never explored before with, CamerEye and AI and with movable floors but even talking about basic things just like a fence and, alarms and pool covers and all the different things to consider to make projects safer. So hopefully there's been a lot of information that you can share with people, and it'll be available for long periods of time after May. But, we're going to continue on. Next week, we're going to be talking about pool tile and all tile pools, which will be really cool to check out. And Kevin wanted to tell everybody that he's got days that he's been feeling better, and hopefully there'll be more of those than less of those upcoming. So he will appreciate your thoughts and prayers with him as well. And once again, we just thank you for the opportunity to share the things that we've experienced, and hopefully that will create great environments for you in the backyard and pool setting. So one thing I do need is I need more questions. I need more people to send in their questions, and we can answer those and try to give you resources to consider. So Thanks for being here, Trey. You're going to hang out with us for several weeks upcoming, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay.
And also with the questions, if you're watching the videos and we missed a question, when we're interviewing someone or we're covering a topic and you're like, man, I wonder what else they didn't mention that. Yeah, just comment that down below and let us know.
Yeah, very good. We all have a good one. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
See ya.
I thought you could only get black and green, and this one's orange.
It is. So if you go back in time on ceramic of Komodo style cooking,
Yes.
this is where it originated. So this is by Imperial. This came over from Japan. This is one, if not the original Komodo cooker that was delivered to the States. It was a burnt orange is what it was, and they would actually load these up on transport airplanes and bring them to the States. What Big Green Egg and Primo has done, they've made it better, and they've advanced the technologies. This is a pretty old system here. I would say it's going to be about 85 to 90 years old.
Wow.
And how we got this is that a customer of ours, when we first opened about 18 years ago, came into the store, and Paul, the owner, said, I don't know if I can help you with that interior lining, but what we'd like to do is see what you have and see if we can make that interior lining fit. Well, we couldn't. But Paul, what he did, he traded a brand new large egg, because this in its entirety, it's hard to find something like this.
Okay.
So if you're what we call an ash head, which is a charcoal guy, they're collectibles. You have collectibles out there. And so we did an even swab for this, and it's a speak to piece when you come in.
Oh, yeah. Well, the UT fans would love it.
Absolute.
Thank you for explaining it.
Yeah.